Imagine I got up here and started swearing. Now wait, before you hypothetically... before you hypothetically tell me off, think, why am I telling her off? All she's doing is making noises with her vocal cords. She's not hurting anyone. The reason you would tell me off is because these words show lack of self-control and aggression and anger, which should not be encouraged. So is it violation of freedom of speech to say that we can't say these things? Think about this. What is this? Anyone?
Tree.
This is a Pinus strobus. The eastern white pine. Yeah, it's a tree. Yeah. But isn't it amazing? I say the word tree, and you instantly associate it with something like this. Seemingly random sounds, instant recognition. This skill is amazingly powerful, but can also be dangerous. This brings me to my main point. Freedom of speech. Do we need more? Do we need less? Or have we already met halfway? Obviously, the circumstance of each country is different. There's democracy, where you can have say in your own government. There's dictatorships, where one person's thoughts and ideas go. There's communism. Right. These places are communist. In communist governments, they say that people don't need freedom of speech because they already have their best interests in mind. Interesting, isn't it? Let's take the point of view of someone who thinks we need more freedom of speech. Now, back to the example of swearing. Why should you have the right to punish me for something that I said? I have the right to freedom. I should not be confined by what society has deemed unacceptable just because society has deemed it unacceptable. Language was created for a reason, to convey thoughts and ideas. And what gave you the right to decide what I can and cannot say? This is how things get done. Laws get changed, ideas get discovered. Without freedom of speech, there is no way anything will change. We don't know if someone has the same ideas as us unless we say it. Sometimes lack of freedom of speech is not a result of people telling us you can't say that, but it's a result of conformity and society putting the pressure on us to say, if you speak out, you will probably be judged. I don't think we yet have the ability to say whatever we want. Take this for example. There was a Facebook page a little while ago against the fact that we can't have our hair down. My teacher said this was bullying the principal. And there are new laws to stop this kind of thing happening. Poor principal. Seriously, that is ridiculous. So we can't have an opinion if it conflicts with the school. I thought we were taught to be strong, independent women that voiced our opinions and didn't just blindly follow orders. So now, if a whole lot of people petition the government, we want some new laws? No. That's bullying us? You can't do that. I'm not saying I agree with the petition. Secretly, I do think that we should be able to have some shard of individuality, such as a scarf, our hair down, in the sea of uniformed conformity. But I guess you get that later. I'm just saying that we should at least be able to say what we think, even if nothing is done about it. Ideas give birth to change. Change is scary, but it's absolutely vital to the evolution of our society. That's evolution. If school had never changed since it was made, we still wouldn't be able to go to school because we're girls. YouTube is... There, we're not finished with that one. YouTube. YouTube is a great place to put your ideas and say whatever you want. But some places, such as China, don't believe in this freedom of speech. YouTube, along with other places where you can put personal opinions, have been blocked. They went through to huge lengths to avoid people speaking out on the 25th anniversary of the Tiananmen massacre. Even Nobel Peace Prize nominated activist Hu Jai was under house arrest. This suppression of freedom is in direct violation of human rights. But as Thomas Jefferson once said, mankind is more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. And China is a accustomed to oppression. Big time. But does freedom of speech only have positive outcomes? Let's now take the perspective of someone who believes we have too much freedom of speech. Now, back to me swearing. These words have been specifically designed to show repulsion against things I'm talking about or who I'm with. We have too much freedom of speech and we don't know where to stop. Words hurt. If sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me, why is the pen mightier than the sword? To use an example from retreat, we all loved retreat. Let's say I had a piano up here. I don't play piano, so I would mash on the keys and get bored very quickly, and no one would like to listen to that. But if I learned to play it properly, I would have true freedom, and other people would like to listen to it. It's the same with freedom of speech. There is a right way to do it. As in the words of William Shakespeare, listen to many, speak to a few. We have to realize that you can hurt others with words, and you can provoke the wrong kind of change. Just think, there would have been a point where there was no dictatorships, but then people would have rallied to be leader. People like Chancellor Sutler and Adolf Hitler. What they were saying sounded good in theory.
Strength through unity, unity through faith.
Sounds good in theory, doesn't it? But it led to catastrophic results. Their freedom of speech led to the physical freedom of millions being taken from them. We need to realize that everything we say has a consequence. Words have power. Some things should not be said. We may look at someone and not like the way they look. Doesn't mean we say it. Too much freedom of speech leads to people being depressed and unhappy, which can lead to even worse things. But then there's the idea that we've already met halfway. There's no one actually telling us what we can and cannot say, but our conscience limits our own freedom of speech. In New Zealand, we've been brought up to limit our own freedom of speech to the point where we are only trying to say nice things that benefit others and not saying unkind things. The government doesn't tell us what we can and cannot say. We can say whatever we want, but we're taught to think about the consequences of our words and how the effect they have on others. So what do you think? The fact that you can actually say what you think says a lot about our current state, but how much can we really say? Thank you, Watch. Yes, I'm done.